Hey guys, King Charmander's here. Today I'll be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And today I bring to you a team where Typhlosion literally just like blows its way through shields and beams everything to victory. It's really nuts just how effective this team is, because I was like, oh, this is insanity. Like I went 8-0 with it, and that wasn't by like accident. I would like hard lose leads, and I'm like, wow, this thing's actually a lot of fun. So be warned, this team isn't like super meta, but like it's actually does pretty well. The premise behind this team is basically a shield breaker strat where you break 2 shields and you come in with the Pokemon in the back to sweep. So Typhlosion closes out really well just because of its ability to essentially win CMP almost at everything, and Blast Burn and Solar Beam has such great coverage even though it's resisted because it does heavy damage. Community Day moves are overpowered. My mental health tip for the day: make sure you exercise. Today, King of Charmander is actually, well, I run 10Ks. Well, I run 10Ks, which is like 6.3 miles or more 3 times a week. So that's like my cardio for today, keeps my conditioning up, etc. And make sure that I can go ahead and shoot for the stars, because I'm also a therapist, so you know, physical health is really important. However, self-care and exercise, that's where I'm going around. Self-care is very important for your daily life. 5 minutes a day goes a long way, or even just if you can squeeze a little bit in between. So does really good. And if you have major depression or just depression in general, it actually wards it away and helps cure it. In fact, it's only one of 2 things that really effectively helps for major depressive disorder if you have it. So exercise. You don't have to run 6 miles, but you know, you got to start somewhere. I started at like what, like when I was in high school, like the mile run, that's where you start. And now I'm up to like, I can run half marathons. Not easily, but like if I had to, like, well, I could kind of just like, all right, there's one next week. Okay, I got it. So good luck, take care of yourself, and take care of everybody else, because it is the holidays. However, this team is very powerful. Oh, I forgot. So I use Incinerate Typhlosion. There's a lot of plays where you can use like Incinerate or just Incinerate down. And as you see here, if you put it, it actually has an A for coverage. Not a lot of bulk. If you resist things, yes, you have bulk. But if you don't resist it, it kind of sucks. This is what the premise, but as you see, pretty solid team outside of not being very bulky. But like I mentioned, this team did go 8-0 for me because I was able to line up things that are either resisted or be able to farm down. For example, Typhlosion can farm down Obama Snow, etc. Or and resist those Charmers and Blast Burn for you to victory. Or hashtag get freaking beamed. Overall, against the overall meta for Ultra League Remix, does incredibly well. As you see here, as you see, your biggest, I would say the biggest issue you have is probably Galarian Stunfisk, because what happens is that you'll have to switch out a Trevenant, and then you have to be a little fancy to where you can either Blast Burn down or Pidgeot like Gust down. You'll see in the final battle, in like the 5-0 battle I had, that it's just nuts. I went 8-0, 5-0, like went 3-2, and then I went 5-0, so it was like crazy. I was like, and that's like the first time I put this team together, so I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. As you see, it only loses to the Dragons. Dragonite Hydreigon has a very rough time. The good thing about Pidgeot in the lead is that you can Feather Dance and play around with the Dragon lead. But if you do see like a hard loss, like for example Galarian Stunfisk, you kind of have to switch out. There's one battle where like I kind of go really ballsy and like just go for it, but like it's still a rough matchup. But this team's a whole lot of fun, takes advantage of Typhlosion's ability to win CMP, and best of all, hashtag get beamed. So here are the battles. As you see here, it's going to be a lot of fun, so I hope you enjoy the beams and all of this madness. So we get a Gliscor into Pidgeot. This is not necessarily a bad matchup for our opponent, because if they boost with Night Slash, it's going to suck, because, you know, it stacks up. And then, as you see here, I'm just going to hit the Feather Dance. You could burst through shields, but watch what happens. So I take the first one. I take the first Night Slash, and for some reason, every time I face a Gliscor, they boost. If you look in the split second, they boosted right there, and it pissed me off. I'm like, really? And this has literally happened every time I've gotten a Gliscor lead. I don't know why. I really don't know. Can you stop boosting? And as you see here, as with every person that boosts, you will shield. So it's great. It's now back to neutral damage. Just because they went +2, now I got -2. So like, haha, sucks for you. Please don't boost again. And they don't boost, which is great. So I'm going to go for the Burb. The idea is to break the last shield here so that I can use the shield breaker strat. Shields go down, Typhlosion goes to town. That's exactly how this team works. Or like literally just like Pidgeot or like Trevenant for like it balls out. Balls out like Steph Curry winning the 3-point, well, breaking the 3-point record if you're a fan of NBA. Yes, Steph Curry broke the 3-point record, and I'm super happy for that, and may many more threes come. As you see here, I sent Typhlosion in, and we're just going to farm down. I don't care if you Night Slash me. Actually, I'm going to shield. They switch out here, and they think they catch a Blast Burn, but you're not that slick. And as you see here, I'm going to summon the beams of I'm going to summon my energy from the sky. The light goes in the air, and then bam, get beamed. Hashtag get beamed, and that's GG's. Our opponent immediately quits out because they think, oh, I caught the Blast Burn. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You just got beamed. You got beamed, good sir. That was good. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Easy W, easy dubs. No, not really. Like, they boosted first. I'm like, that, like, no, that, I'm dead serious. Like, every time I faced the Gliscor, the past 4 Gliscors have boosted on the first Night Slash. And I'm like, really, bro? Next, we have a Legend. So it's a Legend on Legend action. We got a Pidgeot into a Nidoqueen. This is a terrible lead for us because Poison Jab stacks. So even if you do get the Feather Dance down, it's just because of the debuff and just because Nidoqueen she's a beast. She'll Poison Fang you down to oblivion, and it's a very rough matchup for you even if you're able to hit that Feather Dance. I will not shield here though. Poison Fang does a ton. However, Pidgeot is able to tank the first one pretty well. I'm gonna Feather Dance. Actually, I don't Feather Dance. I Brave Bird right away. So the reason why I'm going Brave Bird is because I don't think they'll shield. And you're like, King of Charmanders, they're gonna shield, right? Yeah, they're gonna shield. Watch. Yeah, they shield. And that's CMP! Oh, that's terrible. Okay, so now I'm in a rough spot right now. So I'm thinking to myself, what does King of Charmanders do? He switches out to Trevenant with shield advantage. Hopefully he can take the dub and we get a Berserker. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible. Now, the reason this is terrible is because with Berserker out here, Berserker's Shadow Claws do super effective damage. And Berserker also has Foul Play. So we're in a really rough spot right now. I ball out, get the ball out, ball through, and you know what this means? This means I might be able to take switch and win this matchup, which is intentional, is what I hope. Like, I'm like, okay, I shield here, farm down, and I pray. So as you see here, going straight for the farm down, we should be able to farm down here. And we do. I got a C-Bomb queued. And now I'm just tapping on the left because they're going to send a Nidoqueen, and then I'm going to ball out. I'm anticipating they will not shield this. That's anticipation. But King of Charmanders can be wrong like I did at the beginning of this battle. So I ball out like Steph Curry did on the Knicks today. And it goes through. Thank you, God, that I called that right. We're just going to let this go. We're going to be able to take out... I want to get at least like 1 Incinerate down for energy. Poison Fang goes through. It doesn't kill my Trevenant, even though it has really crappy IVs. And we get a Scrafty. So I'm going to fire C-Bomb. So this is actually really good because... in order for Blast Burn to kill this Scrafty, I need chip damage. So we're going to fire this through. I'm going to let my Trev go. I'm going to keep Pidgeot for a sack, but I should be able to still take the dub as long as I double Blast Burn. This is probably going to be a foul play, but that's okay. Typhlosion can live one, and it's not a foul play. See how I'm saying I'm calling all these wrong? And it was terrible. The good thing is I didn't shield. The bad thing is they get the bait. So, as you see, we're just going to double up on Blast Burn, and then this should be GG's. I tried to sack, and as you see here, if it wasn't for the, I had the right instinct, it's just the timing, just because I was still in Incinerate motion. But I was still able to, pull it off. As you see here, I switch into my Pidgeot, just to take a damage, because I'm okay, I'm hoping that my opponent isn't tapping on anything, but I did give him an extra counter. So this is kind of a misplay, but I should be able to just get the shield, win CMP, and then Blast Burn a victory, as you see here. We double up, we Blast Burn down, and you burn down the hooded Afro Scrafty, and it goes down, and that's GG's. Really rough matchup here. I made it a lot harder than I had to. No, seriously, I made it a lot. I didn't need to do that switching to Pidgeot. I just wanted to do it for science, but as you see here, we get the dub. That's GG's. On the next battle, we get Pidgeot into a Machamp. Now, this is a very mean matchup, and you're going to see why. Because, as you see, they switch into Abomasnow. You know what happens when you switch into Abomasnow? This is what happens. Typhlosion comes in, and it burns you down. It takes your Snowman to the next level. And, well, you know, you're on fire. Steph Curry's on fire, but Typhlosion is on fire. So, as you see, mine is also shiny, so I got that extra damage with it. We're going to just burn it down, burn, and we're going to have a bazillion energy, well, 100 energy to be exact, for whatever comes in. At this point, my opponent is sweating because whatever comes in is going to get absolutely eviscerated. They have a Machamp. So, well, they had a Machamp for the lead. But as you see, I'm just going to break both of these shields. Unless they decide to sacrifice their Machamp for a giant bonfire. And they take one. Which isn't necessarily good for them. Because the idea I have here is I'm just going to, like, burn you down. As you see, I get 2 extra Incinerates. And not only that, I throw off their timing. And we're going to fire off another Blast Burn. They will likely shield here. And then they are going to actually... fire. I timed that on purpose because if they hesitated, this Incinerate should go through. Keyword is should. Fast moves aren't consistent nowadays, so you can only pray and hope that it's going to work out, right? That one goes through, and because it goes through, we're able to take out the Machamp. This is really mean. I do not recommend doing this. I adore my opponent for staying in here because you're about to see me, this was a completely and totally unnecessary. And you are going to see why. We're going to just, as you see here, you probably have, for those of you that have been watching my content or have been watching me since I started streaming on Twitch in Season 1, I will finish the matchup so I can beam you. Just for science and just for practice. Now, I have fudged that up a lot. I have misplayed to the point where I have overkilled and I was unsuccessfully able to beam. So, use this strategy at your own risk. As you see here, I'm just chipping away at this Drifblim so that I can get it down enough to where Typhlosion is kind of safe so that I can kind of just like beam it to victory because you have to ball out. You're -4, so we're kind of just finessing our opponent for the W. As you see here, we're gonna take both, and then what I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna let Pidgeot go. They fire their move, and it's like, okay, cool, because I expected, yeah, I was like, I lined it up at the right time. So Icy Wind goes through this, KOs. I'm going to send in Typhlosion, 1 more Incinerate, and then I'm going to summon the power from the sky. This may be resisted, but you're in the red, so you know what that means? In the snake, that means red means dead. And you know what? Hashtag get beamed. And that was just unnecessary, but you know, like... this is for content. You got to do it for the content. You know what? It's for the content. If you're doing it for the... I mean, GG's, but like all the kudos in the world to my opponent for not quitting out of that. Because they're probably like, man, this guy's probably making a freaking YouTube video. They're right. They're right. Next up, we got a legend. We got legend on legend action. And this is a terrible lead. So this is how you play out a lead. It's terrible. I switch out right away into Trev after accidentally tapping, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. But this is why we get the ice lead, because we wanted to go against Typhlosion. We're gonna eat the first weather ball, so they're gonna be able to ball out, grab 2 points on us, but we're gonna try to like get the ball. We're gonna try to bait these shields. So I'm gonna fire off the seed bomb. 9 times out of 10, I'm hoping they shield because I'm like, I need you to shield. I need to take those shields because we need Typhlosion to go to town. We get the first shield, which is great. And now I'm going to keep tapping, farming down. I might have been able to get to the Shadow Ball, but like I didn't want to risk it. So I'm going to fire off this second Seed Bomb. My opponent knows they live this, so they're likely not going to shield. And as you see, we don't get the shield. However, now we have some... Now we're going to farm down with Typhlosion. Typhlosion goes to town and it's going to burn it down. That rhymes. You see? It's time. It's time. Okay, so we're gonna... This is probably a Dazzling Gleam. Let's be real. You're just gonna hit me with the Dazzling Gleam. It's the Dazzling Gleam goes through. Doesn't do as much as I thought because Ultra League Typhlosion is bulky. And I do have a high-ranked shiny Typhlosion. As you see here, they're just gonna ball out. And then it's gonna cause severe damage. But we should have enough energy here to be able to just like blast. We're gonna blast. So anyways, I start blasting. You know, if you ever watch the SNL show, I start blasting. So they take out a Scrafty. And I'm just gonna double up on Blast Burn. We're not going to be able to get, like, double Blast Burn should take out Scrafty, but I'm not I don't know if they're going to shield or not. I'm just like, what you going to do? We fire off the first one. First one goes off, and then we're going to fire off the second one. And hopefully they shield. We'll see if they don't, but we have a Pidgeot with 2 shields, so... Pidgeot with 2 shields, pretty dope, and we're gonna trap you into, like, the debuff from hell. As you see, we switch in, and we get a Jellicent, and this is pretty much GG's. I have shield advantage here, and even if this isn't Ice Beam Jellicent, you're gonna get locked into debuffs, and I can still clear the debuff with Typhlosion if I need to. So, all I'm, like, this is, like, game. Absolute game. Like I mentioned, we lock in, when you lock in the debuff, it's pretty much, like, helpless. As you see here, either this is a Bubble Beam or a Shadow Ball. Even if it's an Ice Beam, that's fine. I should be able to tank it. And as you see here, they should quit out pretty soon because this is like super hopeless for you. They're like, oh, I'm going to fire off another move and I'm not going to shield this time around. It's going to be a Shadow Ball or a Bubble Beam now that I know. It's always safe to shield the first one just so you know. And then they're going to Shadow Ball. And once they realize that that does, like, no damage, they're going to quit out. And as you see, that's GG's. Really sucks for my opponent there. Like, dang, like, that was a massive flex because that's a hard loss lead from hell. And as you see, that's GG's. This team is great. A for coverage, does really well. I'll show you the results in the analysis at the end and just, like, how good it is. This is the set that took me to a 5-0. So you're going to see the 5-0. This is the 5-0 game right here. And it's a pretty sweet game, so I hope y'all enjoy it, because, man, this was terrible. This was terrible, and you're going to see why it is terrible. We get Pidgeot into a G-Fisk. I don't know how many of y'all have Hondo G-Fisk, because I don't have one, you know, and I still don't have the XLs for it. King of Charmanders doesn't play as intensive as he used to, because he's a therapist, and I'm a wrestling coach, and I got a lot of hobbies, so yeah, it's like, well, yeah, so that makes you really busy, and, like, yeah. And I'm in grad school, so that's like 3 things you have to deal with. Once I take out grad school, like, I'll have a lot more time for content, which makes me pretty happy. As you see here, we're going to Seed Bomb, and we grab a shield, and I'm kind of confused. I'm like, why would you shield that? They send in their Gengar, and I'm like, okay, so I can eat a Shadow Punch. That's why I'm not going to shield here. Yes, even though my IVs are crap, I can eat one in the green. So I eat it in the green, and then we're just going to ball out. We're going to ball out like Steph Curry did last night for the Knicks, and I'm so happy that he broke the record. And then Reggie Miller and Ray Allen are like, good job, GG's! There goes the Gengar! And this was the, yeah, ball out. Hashtag super ball out. You know, when you ball out, it's better than punching someone in the face. You know, it's like the Hadouken, the Kamehameha wave. We're talking about anime references here. Here's what's terrible, though. The G-Fisk is going to come in and get Bajillion Farm. I'm going to fire the Shadow Ball here. Somehow I live. I was pretty sure I was going to die. I was like 1,000%. I'm like, I'm going to die. But it lived, which is good. Because we ball out with 1 HP in a dream. I send in a Typhlosion. And then what we're going to do is we're trying to get some energy here. I'm going to shield. Even though this is likely a Rock Slide, I want Typhlosion to be decently healthy because the Stunfisk is almost dead. Whatever they're going to send in is probably going to die, and it is a Trevenant. GG's. Even though we had a hard loss lead for hell, sorry, sir. Double Ghost doesn't work out too well. So we're going to Blast Burn down. And then all we're going to do is just shield, and then we're just going to, even though they're going to probably, he's going to C-bomb me, it doesn't really matter. As you see here, C-bomb goes off, and then all I'm going to do is shield. And then after we get the shield, all I'm going to do is, well, they're going to get my shield. I knew it was a C-bomb, just like, you know, whatever. G-Fisk is almost dead. I still have a fully healthy Pidgeot. You're going to have to hit 4 Rock Slides to kill me, so this is pretty much game. But as you see, King of Charmanders makes this a whole lot more like, yeah, you're going to see it. So, here you go. Stunfisk goes through. It's probably Rock Slide, or an Earthquake. Very likely a Rock Slide. And then, here's what happens. Like, I feel so dumb for doing this. Okay, so this is for science. I switch in to the Trevenant to take the damage, and then I switch into freaking Typhlosion like a dude, like a dum-dum. Like, this was just for science. I wanted to see if 5-turn can, like, Finesse, or if you could Finesse the system that way. It doesn't really matter. But this is pretty much GG's anyways, because all we have to do... You see that Gust that goes through? Bye-bye. So the Gust goes through, Rock Slide goes down, and then... It's GG's. So we did enough damage on the poor G-Fisk, so that's Pancakes. Pancakes are good, but not on this day. That's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the battles. It was pretty nuts, because like I said, I went 8-0 with this team, and like, I didn't even practice with it too much, but it's a whole lot of fun because of the beams. As you see, the beams are a whole lot. Beams can wipe out most any water types in one shot. And as you see, I got this sweet 5-0 out of it, so this team can do well for you, even though you lose out of leads. With Pidgeot, Trevenant, and of course, my boy, the legendary Typhlosion. Actually, I think... And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed those battles, and I hope you enjoyed the beams. As you see here, this team does really great. This is actually like the first time I popped up the sim like this morning when I was making this video. As you see, an A for coverage. Wasn't expecting that. Not a lot of bulk. This is a shield breaker strat, so shield breaker strats usually mean low bulk, high damage. Unless you have... But it can work with bulky mons as well. It's just the key is to break the shields and then leave it in so that you could just sweep the entire back row. So that's the shield. I call it the shield breaker strat. And as you see, great safety consistency. As you see, even though we lost a lot of leads, we were able to come back. Against the overall meta, this team does extremely well. Typhlosion's Blast Burn does so much damage, and like I mentioned, with Solar Beam, you can wipe out almost practically every water type dies to a Solar Beam. Or you can have a lot of fun where you finesse your opponent if they don't quit out like you did in that one battle with the Drift Blim. I'm so sorry that trainer, like, you are a champion. But I'm also surprised at how effective this team is. As you see, an incredibly low threat score of 615. As you see here, Dragonite Hydreigon, even though just because of Pidgeot and the 2-shield with the ability to farm down with the Feather Dance, there's a lot of things you can do. Even if you do have a losing lead, you can try to, like, match it with Pidgeot, break as many shields as you can, come in with Trevenant Typhlosion with shield advantage, and you can burn it down. Literally. Low threat score, really great. I hope you guys enjoyed the battles. If you guys enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. It's totally free. You can easily subscribe by using the little sub box to the bottom right Charmanders. Put your mouse under it, and then the subtitle will easily pop up. Really appreciate my current subscribers. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets. I hope y'all enjoyed the beams, and I will see you on the next video.